When you play Dungeons and Dragons, just who is your character? I want to talk about it today on Greyhawk Grognard. So, kind of related to what I talked about last week, I would like to discuss the idea of just who is your character supposed to be? Are you playing you in a fantasy universe, or are you playing a character, somebody completely different from yourself? And I think that answer has actually changed over the years, which goes back to other things that we've been talking about on the channel in the last couple of months. And I think a lot of people nowadays think that the idea is their character is supposed to represent themselves, like with all of their own foibles and limitations, and perhaps an exaggerated version of how they see themselves. So if somebody, for example, and this is just a famous example, I'm not trying to get political, honestly, but a famous example is characters in wheelchairs. If you are yourself disabled, and some people would like to play their characters as being disabled as well. And that's where we get the wheelchair accessible dungeons and stuff like that. And again, I'm not making fun. I'm not trying to, I'm not calling anybody any names or anything. But I don't understand that impulse. When I play Dungeons and Dragons or any other role playing game, I don't want to play myself. The whole point is that it is escapist fantasy. It is not even who I want to be myself, right? So let's say, if I was, I don't even know how to make an example without it sounding like I'm trying to make fun of people, so I'm not even going to try. But I don't want to play an idealized version of myself or how I identify, right? Because I identify as the smartest person in the room, and which is true, but hey, we all know that, right? Um, but I don't necessarily want to play that in Dungeons and Dragons, right? I'm not playing me. I'm not playing an idealized version of how I see myself in the game. I'm playing somebody else, and the whole point of doing that is it's escapist fantasy. I don't want to be me anymore. For a couple of hours, I want to be somebody else. And I think honestly that's a healthier way of approaching the game. For one thing, it doesn't impose things on other people necessarily. Then we talked about this last week, where you have something that is very important to you individually as a person, and you feel the need to express that in the game. Right, so if I'm gay, then my character must be gay, or something like that. And I don't want to play myself. I could play a gay character because I'm not gay. If I wanted to, experience some other facet of life. And I think that's kind of the value of role playing games. That goes back to the therapeutic topic we talked about last week, where you can use Dungeons and Dragons to kind of explore different modes of being. If I want to play a dwarf who's lived for 300 years or whatever, then I can do so, even though that has nothing to do with my Joe's identity, right? In fact, I don't want to play things that are close to my identity. I want to play things that stretch the boundaries. I want to play things that I don't normally get to be. That's kind of the point of a role-playing game, is it lets me do things that I can't do. And it lets me do things that I, in the real world, wouldn't want to do. Like murder people and take their stuff, that kind of thing. I don't, I don't want to do that in the real world, but I do want to have the opportunity to do it in the fantasy world. Let me give you an example. The campaign I was playing many years ago, I played two different characters at the same time. The structure of the campaign, it worked. Yeah. One was Josephus. Yeah, I know, name. And he was grim and brooding and almost operatic in his melancholies. He was a warrior, and he had these failed loves, and he was a stoic, brutal warrior, but he was always thwarted in his love life, and it was so good to play that character. And I don't say it was fun, because he was not a fun character. He brought me down, but it was a really great experience to play Josephus like that. This kind of wounded, wounded emotionally, stoic on the outside, brutal warrior who had a tender spot in his heart for several women, and it never worked out. It worked so well as a character. But at the same time, I was playing Marcus the Singer, and he was a bard, and he was the exact opposite of Josephus. And I found I needed to play a little bit of Marcus in order to just get out of the headspace of Josephus. And Marcus would sing, and I would make up songs on the fly as I was playing him, and he would sing and he would caper around and he would have just he would laugh and he would make other people laugh, and it was just such a complete reversal from Josephus. It was, I needed to play Marcus for a little bit after playing Josephus just because it was such a emotionally invested thing. And that's the thing, neither of them was me. I was not Josephus, nor am I Marcus. I got to play these characters that aren't me. I got to experience a different side of life. And that, I think, is why we play role-playing games, not to play an idealized version of how I see myself. I want to experience a kaleidoscope of different ways of existing, and that is the beauty of RPGs. I can do that in an RPG, and I don't want to waste that opportunity by just playing myself. That's just me, though. Your mileage may vary. I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. When you play a character, are you playing just an idealized version of yourself or how you see yourself? Or are you playing something completely different just to have that experience? Or do you not even think about it in those terms? You just want to, you roll up a character and whatever it is, you're going to play and have fun. I would love to hear your thoughts. Chime in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day, and stay safe from Pinkertons. Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.